TWDB spokesperson, reported that there is no state government authority that maintains a comprehensive list of data centers in the state. At the time, she estimated there are approximately 350 to 400 data centers across the state. This was confirmed to Texas School Board from Assistant Secretary of State for Communications. She stated her agency does not have the information. According to TWDB, the agent sent out an estimated 70 surveys to data centers in 2024, asking how much groundwater and surface water they use each month and who was supplying it. Of the 70, only 18 data centers responded. The TWDB does not collect data on cooling system types and have only limited information regarding them. As a result, they aren't able to determine the amount of water that is used in these closed-loop systems. Cooling systems are not the only water that is consumed by data centers. According to researchers, most, but not all, electricity generation from coal, natural gas, and nuclear sources, which accounted for 70% of Texas electricity in 2024, that requires water consumption through evaporation during cooling processes. The article reports that researchers found the national average of indirect water consumption for data centers in 2023 was 4.52 liters per kilowatt hour. Compared with the average American water intensity factor for electricity usage of 4.35 liters per kilowatt hour, the International Energy Agency estimates, the demand of large data centers. Okay, I'm going to skip over that. So basically, my question is, which state agency provided the numbers for the water usage? And I didn't get to finish.
It's okay. What state agency?
I don't know.
So actually, it was Evergreen that provided the numbers that they have for detail. It's up to the data center if they build something to come up with the numbers they're going to use. It's not us. So it's a pretty plan deal.
I was just curious where you got the number from on the screen today.
Just to clarify, the amount that the data centers are projected to use. We did not provide that, because we do not have that number. But I will say that it is one of the charges that is going back to the Senate and the House as their charges, interim charges for this next legislative session. So if you're watching that, talking to your representatives is going to be effective. It is something that is on everyone's mind.
Yeah, that's my whole point, because nobody knows. We don't even have it.
Exactly right. None of us know. We're giving you the best facts we can. Everything that's provided us, and we've been able to find and research with every one of these people here and talk to them, plus the information we've been able to get from data center builders.
So we don't know where we got that information from.
Judge. Some of this I've been out of pocket. They've had to.
Yeah, so, and she answered everything for the others, be it Turfgrass, San Miguel. Those are all local wells that I went on to their website, pulled the well numbers, and did a public information request to get those specific wells. As far as the data center numbers, those numbers were provided to us, and the emails are out there from TEG as they're anticipated, and are very much in line with what Rowan has provided to Medina County and Lytle, and their hyperscale that's a little bit larger, but it's about virtually the same numbers. So
That was my point.
Yeah.
It got from the data.
And on the slides that were asked about specifically, it did state estimated, like you stated, we don't have access.
Okay, I'm going to go on to another online question. Some of these questions are starting to get repetitive. I'm going to go ahead and read them, and then we're going to move on because they've been answered, okay? Because we're already running short on time, and I want to make sure everybody gets to be heard here. Rita Wade Worthy. I'm writing to formally voice my opposition to any proposed data centers or DESS projects. As a resident of Atascosa County, I am deeply concerned that our local public safety infrastructure is completely inadequate to handle these unique, high-risk fire emergencies. We do not have the manpower, resources, training, or expertise to respond to them safely. I've been trying for over a year to get the city of Pleasanton to get the outdoor warning siren system up and running, and to my knowledge, no other city in Atascosa besides Lido regularly tests or has a working system. And just last month, Jerrington was under a tornado warning, and residents had no outdoor warning system to alert them. The current countywide alert system is inadequate and needs updating. How will the county mitigate this very important issue? So that one was already answered previously, the previous online question by Mr. Ponza. So we're gonna go ahead and move on from that one. The next in-person question is Cheyenne Yalls. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Cheyenne Yalls, I'm sorry. Welcome, Ms. Yalls.
I'm Cheyenne Yalls. I live at 1691 Texas 97 in Jerrington, Texas. I am a 19-year-old college student majoring in wildlife conservation. I'm here today to speak on behalf of all the animals that don't know what is going to happen and cannot speak for themselves. In Atascosa County, we have over 1,300 species, and more than 40 of them are threatened or endangered. Either they call this place their home, or they rely on this area as part of their migration. The federal government can no longer protect them due to Trump's administration passing a rule that will nearly all habitat protections for endangered species. So it's up to cities and counties to step up and protect them. Our state reptile, the Texas horned lizard, is a threatened species that conservationists are working on breeding and reintroducing them at the San Antonio Zoo. They have been facing habitat loss and are very sensitive to pollution that is a direct byproduct of the natural gas power that this data center is planning on using. Data centers emit a constant humming sound that can be heard from hundreds of feet around them. Not only can we hear it, but animals that rely on hearing and can hear much better than us also can be greatly affected by this. All animals are affected by this exposure, causing elevated stress, weakened immune systems, and reduced reproductive stress. Even like the farmer that has been reporting stillborn calves ever since the data center was constructed nearby, our surrounding farmers will see a negative effect on their livestock. Research has been done that linking noise levels above 50 to 60 decibels, which is in the range of a data center, to disruptions in honeybee communications and foraging behaviors. Overall, the results show that high noise pollution above 60 decibels negatively impacts honeybee colonies, including formaldehyde, HCHO, a widespread air pollutant emitted from traffic and industrial activities like natural gas generators being used. It is linked to causing respiratory and oxidative stress in insects, which can impair foraging efficiencies and overall colony performance. While particulate matter, PM, from air pollution can gather honeybees' bodies, interfering with bee orientation and foraging behavior. AI related emissions are expected to contribute 4.8 to 15.4 gigatons of cumulative global carbon dioxide emissions, increasing temperatures to between 32.0047 Fahrenheit and 32.051 Fahrenheit. This could result in a loss of an estimated 3.5 to 14.1 million bees per year from heat stress.
You have 30 seconds.
All wildlife will be affected by data centers, and I wasn't able to get into more detail. And they will be affected by this one. To my community, I am on the Pleasant Endurance track where I see AI posters and ones hanging in our community. If we want to make a change, it starts with every single one of us. We don't need generative AI. We need to use our own creativity like we used to.
All right, this is the last online question from Ashley Nicole Zavala. Judge Coote, this one's in 4 parts. Some of it, I'll go through it. Some of it's been answered. I'm an Atascosa County landowner. I'm unable to attend the July 7th committee meeting regarding the proposed data center northwest of Jerrington, and I request following questions be addressed at the meeting, that this email be retained as part of the county correspondence record on this matter. Question number 1 about water. What cooling design is proposed, evaporative, closed loop, or air cooled? We have no answer for that one. It's up to the builder. What is the projected annual water draw in acre feet and from what source? Again, no answer for that. It's up to the builder. Has any application been filed with the Evergreen Underground Water Conservation District? That would be yours. Again.
We have not received an application for a data center.
Thank you. Question number 2, power and air. Will the site include on-site natural gas generation or diesel backup generators? What are the projected NOx and particulate emissions, and which TCEQ permits will be required?
I can give you TCEQ's number again.
Yes, sir. All right, number 3, tax money. Will the developer seek property tax abatements or economic development agreements from the county or any school district?
We have not been asked for a tax abatement or any kind of program whatsoever.
And then the second part of that question, will those hearings be publicly noticed with opportunity for comment?
Absolutely.
Question number 4, will the county commit to notifying residents before any agreement is signed rather than after, given that neighboring Medina County officials repeatedly learned of data center projects only after commitments were underway?
We'll be glad to notify anybody anything, but we don't know anything. If they could change hands and us not know anything.
Okay, that's all the questions from this one. For the record, I'm stating now before any agreement exists that the burden of proof on water draw, emissions, and noise belongs to the developer, not on residents to prove harm after construction. If any abatement is considered, I request binding enforceable conditions on cooling design and water sourcing. Please add me to any notification list for updates on this project. From Ashley Nicole Zavala, Pleasanton, Texas. And that's it with the online questions. All the rest of them are going to be in person.
So those agreements have to go through Commissioners Court. We have Commissioners Court the second and fourth Monday of the month. The agenda is posted now the Wednesday before. We have to post it. So our agenda deadline for the 13th was today at noon. It'll be posted tomorrow at 9 a.m. on our website. All of our Commissioners Court meetings are on YouTube. You can watch them live. You can't comment. You can't do that live, but you can email your comments to the county judge's office. You can come and do a public comment. But those hearings, those agreements, all of those things that affect your tax money go through Commissioners Court. So they would have to do that in order to be signed. So we're not going to put it in the Pleasanton Express, but the Pleasanton Express promotes items that are of public interest on our agenda. And we are required by state law, and we follow that law, and we post our agendas. So if you have concerns, you need to check the agenda and see if there's something on there that you would like to come and speak about. You can also contact your commissioner for your precincts. They're up here, as the judge said, they have open door policy. Contact the county judge's office, and they will get you in touch with them if you have questions.
Okay, the next in-person speaker, number 11, Arthur Trail. Hello, Mr. Trail. Fantastic.
Many years ago, I stepped forward to the Evergreen, told them we need to do a geological study of the aquifers in this county, and we did. I spent $39,000 of my own dollars doing that. They finally rebated it after we talked to the governor. Related that, but I found out from doing that study that what you need to do when you're looking at geology is to go to the field and study those rocks in the field. Electric logs, Hargis did the Hargis report, which is a very good subsurface report, but to know the relationships between those beds, you need to go into the field and study them. I spent 3 years of my life in southern Bear County studying the contact between the Carrizo Aquifer and the Wilcox. And so, I have done some recent work on that here. I've been working on it lately. I didn't tell. But that's the job that's calling on that. And, here's some of the diagram I did.
Mr. Trail.
Showing the relationship of the Carrizo to the Wilcox. Now, some people want to say, you want to go right to the Wilcox, start pumping out water and using water out of the Wilcox. You can't do that because you lower the pressure in the Wilcox, and there are places where that can leak down when you lower that pressure. So you've got to be real careful with that. How do we know that? We know that because the Queen City is the shallow aquifer, and the U.S. federal government, U.S. Department of Geology, told us that the last thing to go is going to be the Carrizo. We're bringing the Queen City before we get the Carrizo because it will leak down. Other questions here, you, and that's good questions to you. When are we going to start metering wells? I know it's going to be a talk for us there. We need to meter wells. You estimate production now. I took the numbers up there. I can't believe those numbers because it's possible. So we're having trouble with water everywhere. You know it, I know it, everybody does. We're going to have to step forward and meter those wells. The High Plains Aquifer District in West Texas does it because they're having the water problem. So we need to do. And I thank you for your work on that. If you will do that, you will be a big help to the citizens of this county. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Trail.
Thank you, Mr. Carl. So let's address metering. So the district rules do require that permitted wells are metered, and that annual production or monthly production depending on the type of permit that you have, is submitted. So our rules require it. Now here's the dirty little secret. Only 75% of our irrigation permits submitted reports last year. Less than 50% of our industrial permits submitted last year. Our staff calls up a permittee, hey, where's your reports? Yeah, I'll get them, okay. We call again. We call again. We send second notices, third notices. We do our level best to get those numbers up, and we have made amazing strides in the past 2 years to improve our reporting numbers. But we have to have cooperation from the well owners to get the production reports in and get their meters installed. For our irrigators, we just received a grant from the Texas Water Development Board, thank you for the funding, of $100,000 to help offset the cost of a meter. So if you have a well and you don't have a meter, come talk to us. Let's get a meter installed so you can meet the district guidelines and fulfill those rules. And I would like to also mention the science investments that the district has historically done, and we are reinvesting in. The board of directors for the Evergreen recently approved commitments from our reserve fund of $1.2 million to conduct hydrogeological studies and redo our models that give us the projections for what's going to happen in the future. We just signed contracts for the first phase to do a modeling project to redo the models that are going to feed into the state program for the Queen City, the Wilcox, the Carrizo, Gateway Jackson, and Sparta. There's actually quite a number of aquifers throughout our jurisdiction, over a dozen. And we are making the key investments now so that we can understand scientifically what our stressors are going to be in the future.
Thank you. I'm going to go into another online question. So I had one page of online questions and I didn't see the back. There was 3 more back here. So I have 3 more back here. The next one's from Jamie Pollock. Hers is a 2-part question. Are county officials allowed to enter NDAs? No.
We have not, and will not.
And then the second part, okay, in the second part of that question, if so, why is it okay to conceal plans? So the answer was no, so it's no. Okay. So that answers both questions. Okay. The next in-person question, number 12, Dustin Manfield. Is that correct, Manfield?
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Manfield.
Good evening, my name is Dustin Mansfield. I live at 1039 County Road 339, New Jersey. I'm an electrical engineer for a transmission distribution co-op. I started working in Atascosa County 9 years ago. We got a job in San Miguel. And I moved my family here from New Braunfels 8 years ago. One thing I noticed right away, and that has continued to hold true for me, is this county is full of hardworking, well-mannered people. I like that, and I intend to stay here the rest of my days, and I hope that my kids grow up able to do the same. I've done a little research on data centers and some of the concerns I want to share what I found. There are 66 counties that use the so for their groundwater resource. The average last 15 years available data from the Texas Water Development Board, Atascosa County uses 40 million gallons a day. The total usage by all counties is harder to determine, but it looks like we use about 15% of it. Recharge rate shows to be between 22 to 63 million gallons a day. If the data center uses closed loop cooling, the daily water usage might be in the tens of thousands, and that's for the building facilities, not for cooling, but nowhere near in the millions. Even if it was in the hundreds of thousands a day, it would not be enough to move the needle. So if the data center looking to come here intended to use closed loop cooling, water consumption here is based on 10 units. Of the 40 million gallons a day we use in this county, 10% is from San Miguel. Another 23% is mining operations, which includes the San Miguel mine. The point is, if and when San Miguel closes, we will see a massive decline in our water consumption. But if, and hopefully when, a data center comes online in our county, we will see practically no meaningful increase in our water consumption. We will see a meaningful increase in tax revenue and permanent job creation. Now, for an aspect I'm more personally interested in, and that is our electric grid reliability. The recent Department of Energy report shows that Texas is at a steadily increasing risk for blackouts. The risk could be as much as 100 times greater by 2030. This is largely due to shutting down dispatchable generation and replacing it with intermittent non-dispatchable wind and solar. Top being non-dispatchable, wind and solar do not have the real and reactive power output flexibility of a synchronous power plant. This means they are useless for voltage and frequency support. This is a factual result of policy decisions. Our grid is less reliable. We have worked ourselves into a hole, and regulations will not protect us from laws of physics. The data centers that are co-located generation are choosing thermal synchronous generation because it works. That is great news for grid reliability. We need more combined cycle natural gas plants and nuclear plants. If the data centers are going to build them, we'll get on them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Manfield. Next online question is from Brenda Shoemaker. We won't have enough water. We won't have enough electricity. We can't even get a road fix in this town, and they're looking to put in a data center. Come on, people, use your heads. And what about the people living next to this loud, noisy thing that you ask us if we care? No, do y'all care? I'm wondering. Why don't you stick to the basics for the town? Something for the kids to do, like a roller skate building, more parks, fix roads. We have something that's useful to the community, and we all would benefit from. Not a data center. Put that in another country. We don't need it. We don't have the water, electricity. People, even if you make your own, you're stealing from us. You gotta be end of story. There's no question there. So we'll move on to the next in-person question. Cecilia Castellano.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Cecilia Castellano, and I want to set the foundation tonight, not with fear, but with facts. I'm a resident of Atascosa County, and I'm here today because our community deserves to understand how we got here and what we can do to protect our future. Data centers did not just appear by accident in Texas. Over the years, state laws created incentives that made Texas attractive to these massive projects. Now everybody write down these House bills and Senate bills. In 2013, the Texas legislature passed House Bill 1223, which created sales and use tax exemptions for qualified data centers. That allowed certain data centers to avoid paying taxes on major equipment like servers, cooling systems, electrical systems, power infrastructure, and software. In 2023, the legislature passed House Bill 5, also known as the Texas Job, Energy, Technology, and Innovation Act. This law created another incentive tool for large corporate projects by allowing certain tax limitations through school districts. Now in 2025, that was just last year, the legislature once again passed Senate Bill 6, which addressed large electric loads, including data centers using 75 megawatts or more. That tells us something important. The state of Texas already recognizes that these projects can be placed serious pressure on our electric grid. So now we have to ask if the state created the incentives and the state knows these projects impact the grid. Then where are the protections for communities like Atascosa County? This is not about being against technology. We all use technology. We understand that data centers are part of the future, but progress should not come without responsibility. Before any massive data center moves forward in Atascosa County, our residents deserve answers. How much water will it use? How much electricity will it demand? Will our utility rates be affected? Will our road, emergency services, and local infrastructure be impacted? How many permanent local jobs will actually be created? And most importantly, who will pay the cost? Some people say a local moratorium cannot be done under current state law. But if that is true, then that is exactly why a special session must be held. The legislators created the incentives. Now the legislator must create the authority to pause and review these projects. My solution is simple to the state rep and the state senator that is here. Governor Abbott must call a special session so the Texas legislature can pause new data centers incentives and approvals until every proposed project is required to complete a full local impact study. Atascosa County also deserves local input before decisions are made. We're not against progress, we are against reckless growth. Thank you, and you have a voice in November to vote.
This next one is the actual last online question. From Chance Kutek. How will power be provided to the data center? Is it gas powered? How much water will be needed to convert the gas to usable energy? I think the answer to that is based on the builder, right? Okay, and then how will tax revenue be used to service the residents of the county? You don't know until, yes. Okay, so that's it with the online questions. The next in-person question will be speaker number 14, Marion Knowlton.
Well, none of my questions were answered.
We can ask you the question.
Yes, I
You
did.
statements.
Yes, I did ask questions.
They were all project specific, none of that can be answered till we know the size of the project and where it's gonna be.
No, they were not.
Ms. Knowlton, it's your time now.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I can get this to work. Am I
There you go.
working?
You got it. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Marion Knowlton, and I live at 305 Inwood in Poteet. I'm here to talk about, and actually, I'll start with addressing a quote from Ms. Solis, that statutory authority we have right now. Texas does not have statewide zoning. Each city establishes its own zoning regulations. Counties typically oversee plating requirements for subdivisions. And I confirmed this with rural development. They were very helpful and professional. And we approved permits for septic tanks, water wells, and now driveways for 9/11 purposes, 9/11 drusses. Texas is primarily considered a limited, no zoning state where counties lack broad land use authority. And this is often guided by the Dillon Rule. and the effect is that unincorporated rural areas may have almost no zoning regulations. Texas is famous for this. Cities have more power than counties, whose powers are limited. Now, I'm a real estate broker, and I've been in real estate for over 40 years, and I believe in private property rights. But the purpose of zoning is to govern how land use can be used to include protection of property values and public welfare. Many states in the United States have rural zoning, to include Illinois. Rural counties often allow more flexible land use than cities, but they still regulate building types, setbacks, agriculture use, etc., open space, and community character. Atascosa County would benefit from cohesive, informed land management to protect our communities from conversion to non-farm uses. You may not be able to enact a moratorium, but you have ways, and you could make it cost prohibitive for these groups coming in. I would like to suggest that our state representatives, Mr. Flores and Mr. McLaughlin, consider legislation initiative to protect the open spaces and community character of Atascosa County. Florida has initiated statutes that the county government holds and enforces zoning authority over rural unincorporated lands. We need this in Texas. I would ask the Commissioners Court to consider a commission that we might review these centers coming in, I see that, and set up a review and include private citizens who will be appointed from Rotaries, Chambers of Commerce, churches. Bring the private citizens in who are not appointed, but they're prominent and working citizens in the county. There are enough questions by the public that the Commissioners Court should demand answers to the citizens' questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next speaker is number 15, Patsy Trail. Hello, Ms. Trail.
Hey.
Great.
Good evening. Welcome, Judge Good, Commissioners, Senator Flores, Representative McLaughlin. First of all, I want to thank Weldon, Judge Good. I've known these people too long. I know their mothers very well. And I've known their children. They went through high school here. My husband's family's been here since the 1900s. Helped develop Pleasanton, helped develop this county. One thing I can tell you as a young girl, I swam in the Atascosa County River in clean water. Why is it not flowing? It's growing. Water's finite, people. It will not be here forever. By the way, I live at 7035 County Road 426 on the Old Trail Ranch. All right, so we know it's finite. We know we need to depend on the evergreens to protect it. And we know they need restrictions. Senator, Representative, that falls in your bailiwick. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been told plain, go to Austin. I've been involved where we took a bus to Austin. Practically a lot of women. Right, Senator Flores? But we do need to do something. We know the county's hands are tied. We know Evergreen is trying, and we will stay on them. Sorry. Representative McLaughlin, Senator Flores, we're dependent on you. But county, what you can do is be our voice. Please let these people know this county does not want data centers. We value our water. We value our quality of life. And all of this has been very interesting, documented, but I have one more for you and I will sit down. There is research about data center water usage. It's out there, you have to look for it. From the state of Florida, their Water Control Board and Pollution Control. In Florida, current data centers, depending on their size, and they are different sizes and have different usages, use from a few million, gallons to over 1.5 billion yearly. State of Texas. Research by the Lincoln Research Center on Land Policy, All right, in Texas, right now, current data centers are projected to use up to 49 billion gallons of water yearly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stroh, very much. Folks, it's 8 o'clock. We have 9 questions left. I'm going to go ahead and let those questions come through so we can get as many questions and comments as possible. That's what we're here for, right? That's what we're going to do. Mr. Vasquez, Nick Vasquez, you're up. Hello, Mr. Vasquez. You got the mic there?
You got the mic, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Can hear you clear.
All right. Well, and where to begin? There's a lot of questions that I answered, a lot of questions asked. So I want to talk about two things. We talked about water to death. We've talked about water to death. You know, we know water is going to be a big issue, these things. We all know that. What I haven't heard of talk about is the health effects of these data centers. And there's a reason why they're not being discussed, because there are no studies, there are no research on that topic. And the reason why is because if you look at the Texas Water Board Commission, you look at the Congress, they all say these data centers do not submit survey data. Going back to health, and I know we're a private law, we're a public policy state, but if you burn a bunch of tires, you know, you're gonna get a call from